Hi, YouTube. Yeah, my last video wasn't the best with narrator. I'll have to practice on that. There's more information that I want to get on that topic. Because was reading a medical journal that described how men and women both can transfer DNA, and within our DNA, we have written codes and messages that we actually can obtain from other people, like our family genetics and through sexual acts and all those types of things. Wow, oh, I thought there was a line. Um, yeah, I got lines. I meant like, in the camera. But so yeah, I'm going to be doing some more practice with my narrator. And excuse the lighting, it's the sun. I can't do much about that changing in my window right now. So um, that's the way it is. And I don't want to turn the big light off on. That'll just, it's kind of rough on your eyes. So but yeah, so I'm going to be doing some more studying within the next couple weeks or so and practicing with my narrator and reading the instructions. I used to know how on my old laptop, but now it's everything's new, and I really don't know how to use it, honestly. I thought I could just put it on there and it would work like I used to do, and it wasn't cooperating. Or I guess reading the instructions will be a very good thing too. So within the next couple weeks or so, I'll be doing some of that, and then some more research into the medical journals for what I'm trying to prove. So, yeah, I've got some building. Like yesterday, I was climbing around on the in between the box truck and a carport to fill in a gap on the roof up there, making it warmer for my kitties, because I don't know, I don't think they can get in our I think they've gotten too big to get squeezed in this hole they were getting up under the door into that motorhome, and I don't want to just leave the door wide open for them. So I've decided to turn part of the carport into a kitty house. And so I've got some windows and different things I'm going to be setting in this week, and a floor and different things for them. So that's going to keep me occupied. I was doing some of that yesterday, and then came in and did some more research and put some on Facebook that I found. Excuse me. I was trying to find the article that I was talking about. Literally went into the missionary position, that's described biblically, and the physical ramifications of doing having sex other ways than that, and the dangers of that, and the reasons why that is really true. I mean, all jokes put aside, I care about everybody, and this is the real mission of my issue with it. So that's what's on my mind today. So yeah. Uh Anybody not been watching their news? Good for you. you know. Hey, how many people have you seen just keel over in the streets? One? Anywhere? I suppose, like I say, if we say it enough, they'll start doing that, like just falling over. I used to like walk in somewhere and just fall backwards, my judo fall. So I'd fall in, you slap your arms, but I could do it where I didn't really have to slap my arms to alleviate the uh, body weight. So you distribute it. So I just come in and do a fake slip and fall. And people like, whoa, you know, just make them laugh and get up and say, I think I'm okay. you know, something like that, depending on where I was. But I would do that once in a while just for the fun of it. I'm not going to do it anymore. I fall enough on my own nowadays that it really hurts. But I'm lucky I had that training because there's a lot of times when you go down, if you can avoid your elbows and your head and any major pinpointed, um, if you can equal out the weight of your body as you're falling, to think of it like that, it does help because, well, it has helped me. I was stuck in the snow one year. It was right after I had my stroke, and who knows, maybe it was energy directed weapons at me. But I was pretty weak, and I had just gotten through pushing by hand a 900-pound round bale. It was sort of on a hill, but I used a little bit of a leverage with a pull, and I got it rolling, and I was able to roll it. And then I got my back into it, and I was pushing it with my legs, so I got it pretty far. And then I turned around and I was cutting the strings and I was pulling some off the bale. And I fell backwards into about 3 feet of snow and I was stuck there for a while. Over 5 minutes anyway. It seemed like a half hour. It was cold out until I finally got enough strength to roll over on my side and I was able to get myself up and in the house. But, just think if my birth grandmother fell in the yard down in Texas in Austin and broke her hip and had to crawl back to the house. Yikes. She's dead now, but she was such a lovely woman, just so full of love, totally sweet, you know, way sweeter than me. Maybe her I have the same heart but I don't have the same mouth or the same brain. Kind of the same brain, but a little more heightened, I guess would be a nice way of putting it, So, yeah. But anyway, um not a whole lot going on around here. Um I'm going to be going back out later. I have to clean their water and put some more um, diatomastic earth around to make sure that we do keep the fleas at bay. Doug had taken his cat's collar off him about 4 days ago, and I had one crawling on me last night, and I got it. It was right there. I'm like, when I squished it, and I turned on my light, and I'm like, oh, yuck. And then you don't even sleep after that. It's like even if it was the only one in the house, it had to jump on me. So he put the collar back on him today. And my cat outside doesn't have Nellie the mama, doesn't have any fleas on her. So she's doing really good with that collar on her. Most wild cats would just like rip that thing off, but she knows it's helping her. And I talked to her and explained, but here's something. Now, she wouldn't come to me all morning. I was calling her and she was mad at me. We had this, I think it's from the same family. It has light gold eyes like one of Nellie's babies that I call White Fang. But White Fang has got white on top her head and, or I mean black, and black, grayish black tail, but she's all white with 6 toes. Well, the day before yesterday, this white one, a little bigger than them, showed up in the yard, and he's a baby. It's a little boy. He's a total albino, and he's got light gold eyes and a pink nose and like see through ears. He's really freaky looking. I named him Yeti, and I told him if he gets along with everybody, and he was wanting to play with them, but they weren't really accepting. Now, today, they were eating together, but because I was going to pet Yeti, Nellie took off and she wouldn't come to me this morning till almost, well, it was 11:30. Finally, she came and acted like she had just been gone and didn't hear me yelling for her all morning, like several times this morning, going to different windows. And when I was outside and stuff, she heard me, you know, but she was jealous. So I picked her up and she made me carry her over to the food. And usually she runs alongside of me. So talk about a big spoiled baby, you know. But yeah. But I figure, well, it's another cat, and you know, I don't know. Doug's got a saying, which is true: if you feed them, you own them. But God owns them, and they come from somewhere, and I'm not gonna let them go hungry. I just can't do that. Last winter, the neighbors had their cat in our yard, and we took her in and put her in the shop. She was a tiny little baby, and I had put some strawberries out for the rabbits and some corn on the ground. And here was this tiny little baby cat took a bite out of a strawberry, a frozen strawberry. That's horrible, So that's why I'm not gonna not feed a little baby that's starving, or an older one. I just can't. I can't overlook it. So I'm really not certain where this new one came from. From my estimation, mine are the babies that Nellie has are about 3 months old now, and this one's borderline 4 months old, maybe three and a half, maybe a couple weeks older than the ones that I have around her. And I had to look twice. It's like, well, I said, "You're not White Fang. You're a different white one, unless he's been hiding this whole time." I have no idea for sure. But Nellie, the mama, wasn't really having nothing to do with him. She was hissing at him. But she hisses at her own babies too now because she's they're weaned. So I don't know. Have no idea. They look like they could be cousins, or because a lot of these feral cats are from the same family that I call puffkins, like right from the beginning. We've got one from a stray that's Doug's cat, Bob, and so I don't know, just generations of the same barn kitties. So I don't know. The neighbors shoot them though, so that's the scary thing. Um, that's terrible. Instead of trying to do like I'm trying to do, there's this vet tech named Kelly. Right before winter, I'm gonna get a hold of her, and we're gonna, if I can't just grab the kitties, we'll trap them with food, and then she'll fix them and then bring them back to where they live. So at least that will cut down on the feral cat problem. So, excuse me. Oh, have they buried the DNA uh, charts and different medical journals? Um, I'm going to be going deeper into them. It was about maybe 10 years ago now that I read this article in a medical journal, and I do not remember which one it was. So I've been searching and searching, and there's fact checkers. It's like, hey, fact checkers, why don't you check how the CDC hid all my information when they tried to kill me, and how many doctors I went to, and the chunks of skin they took out of me and tested, and all the rest of that crap? Why don't you go check that? Check that for some facts, you know? Sure they will. They can check everything, but when a person has actual medical proof, and I can show you my paperwork, I might dig that up, you know, of where it says exactly what happened to me and what they did and what their findings were. They had no clue what was in me. They called it a unknown fluke. Well, I call it Morgellons, but there's a lot that that entails too. That's been going on for thousands of years. Satan entered, the germ entered from the rape of the fallen into mixing with the DNA of human women. And this is where we stand today with the diseases that are in us from them that we're trying to clean out of our systems. And no, they're not a part of it. It's called the separation of the wheat from the weeds. You know, there's a place for them. If somebody has sympathy for the devil, go live where they're going to be living, but they will not be living in heaven. They are never going, they cannot go back. If that's the mindset where they are, there's a place for them. You can, I can't say for sure if you're going to remember who they are, but if they're evil, why would you want to? You know, that goes along with my own blood. Hey, if you don't want to abide by what our Father says is the law in the Word in His home, and you know what's clean and what's unclean, you don't want to abide by that. They don't want to abide by that. Well, there's going to be a place. I can't say for certain your soul's going to be shattered and scattered into a gazillion pieces, but I can say that Satan will have control of that for the rest of eternity. If you don't want a soft bed to lay in, God's not going to force you into that bed. But Satan will. He's like, "You're mine." Throw you in that hard rock bed, and that's where you'll be. And that I do know as a fact. So I just know from experience when I don't listen to the Holy Spirit inside myself and it nags at me, something's just not right. And it'll every day, and if you do videos, you'll have this like something missing look, like an empty type of look on your face that you know something isn't right. Or if you're going through your day and you know, and it'll nag at you and eat at you, and you'll push it aside and make excuses for it. A lot of times it's out of love for other people that we make excuses for them. This isn't the time to do that. We have to stand up for the future of everybody. This isn't dependent on whether Satan's ability to raise his own soul or who's going to help that issue. That's not your job. Might be depending on who I'm talking to, but your typical normal average person, this is not your job. It's not your job to come together with darkness. God in Genesis separated the dark from the light. And there is a physical separation. And you don't need a positive and a negative to have a current. You can have a ground charge, one wire, one true God. That's the energy. That's a direct link with no interference that I feel I have. I'm not saying I always use it, because I do let my mouth override my better judgment at times, but there's times when my mouth is going and somebody should listen to it and they don't. But you'll know. If I'm out here, like if I'm going on a rant, it's just to relieve some energy and I know everybody else is upset, then that's kind of for shits and giggles. But when I'm being downright serious about something, like this topic on the DNA and carrying it through our blood, and how other people's thoughts through the generations and through different sexual partners can give us thoughts that truly are not our own. That's what we're battling. That's not just in spirit, that's actually in the physical. And it's a fact. So this is what I'm trying to prove, is how it's not only spiritual warfare, but the war against your flesh is goes a lot deeper, many generations back towards your forefathers onto you right this moment, or from a sexual partner onto you. If you had a lesbian lover and you have sex with your husband, he could have sympathies for same sex relations, and it's not even his own sympathies. It doesn't take love away from people. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about the science that God gave human beings from the beginning, who we are inside, and what the actual natural facts are. No matter what the fallen want to do with that, that's their thing. That's their thing. That's free will. I'm not trying to force them to be me. I wouldn't want them to be me. I don't want them around me when I go to rest in my Father's house. I'm not going to have to think about that type of thing. That's on them. If they see that as no big deal and it doesn't hurt their heart or soul to do something they know is literally destroying the younger generation by not speaking up against it, well, that's, I'm not saying hate anybody. So anybody wants to think and go anywhere different, go run with your little thoughts. Run along now. The adults are talking here. So we're talking science, true science, and I will prove my words. I sort of proved it with a study with mice and worms and on genetics, or it was creation.com, but not like I wanted to, but it did speak on what I was speaking about. For 100 generations within these mammals, they had predispositions that were carried from their forefathers through their bloodline from different things that they were introduced to 100 generations before that. And that's what I'm speaking about. So, well, I'm going to leave it there. And like I said, you're more than welcome. Do some research and school me. Tell me a fact or two. But I'm going to tell you one thing you won't do, because I'm in tune with my body. One thing you won't do is teach me the science of biology that I feel from my father, that I've always been really good at. That's something where you're never going to school me, because my heart, my soul is connected with human biology in a big, major way, above anybody I've ever met. And I am not bragging, I'm telling you the facts. So that's where I stand on that. And I'm not saying I know every medical term and I'm going to quote this or that, like people do a verse out of the Bible or something. I'm telling you, when I go to look at a science observation, I can tell whether it's righteously of God or not. And that's all I care about. So, and it's a very big deal. So, well, peace and love, everybody. From Pine City, Minnesota, USA. God bless your day or night, wherever you're at.